Race number 10 of Season 5 of the NNSCRA Pizza Hut X Series rolls into the place that started out the season, Daytona International Speedway, but we're not running the 2.5 mile superspeedway configuration. Today we are continuing on the race weekend from the road course configuration, a little over 3.5 miles in length. Now, for those that didn't tune into the Truck Series race, we were supposed to this weekend for the Pizza Hut X Series drivers endurance race at the track known as Open Roads, but due to some problems where the game kept crashing in the middle of every time I would try to record, we're here for all three series, Trucks, Pizza Hut X Series, and tomorrow's Short Series Cup Series race at this road course. So this is going to be interesting because all these drivers, all the fans, myself and the commentators booth, we weren't prepared that we were going to be coming here to Daytona. We had it all set up that we were going to be going to Vancouver, we were going to be going to Open Roads, and now we've been thrown this curveball, and these drivers as well have thrown a curveball, knowing that a playoff position could very well be on the line if some of them, or one of them is able to go to victory lane here at this race at Daytona Road Course. So we'll see what happens. 20 laps on tap here today, and if you didn't tune into our truck race yesterday, this could turn into very much a fuel strategy race. It'll turn into a bit of an endurance race, really. And got a couple of drivers lined up on the front row who really are looking to find victory lane. One of them running well in the points, the other one not so much. Pole sitter J Deaver comes into this race 15th in the points, had a good run last time out 2 weeks ago at Richmond. On the flip side, J Shelly. Let's get the command real quick and we'll tell you about Shelly.
Is this on? Drivers, start your engines.
On the flip side, Shelly did not have a good run at his home track. Dropped 6 spots in the standings after Richmond, down to 36th in the points. So obviously looking for a good run here today. And if our truck race, again, is anything to base this race off of, which is basically the only thing we have to go on, track position is very, very important at this road course. Give you your top 10, the points overall coming to this race presented by Blame Shelly Insurance. Phil Parker comes into this race 6 points in hand over Austin LaPlante. Daniel Olson, third in the point standings. Diego Yepez, who won the last time out's race at Richmond, he is fourth. Mason Wood currently in fifth. And you got Zach Flickinger, Charles Jackson, Brooke Allen, Alex Gray, Andrew Davis, your top 10. 62 points separate the top 10 in the standings coming into this one. 9 races, 9 different race winners, all 9 inside the top 30 in points, the lowest being Elijah Gilbert, who's 21st in points, who won at this track when we ran to start off the season, but it was the super speedway configuration at the time. So here we go. J Deaver and J Shelly gonna lead us down here. Start finish line where it normally is, right here in the middle of the tri-oval. The flagman's ready. Green flags in the air. We're underway at Daytona Road Course. Let's roll. There you see that hard left-hand turn 1 into the road course section of the track. Oh, got a car that went up and into the wall just a little bit there. It looked like Joshua Hyatt, and I think another car got into the wall behind him. Looked like the 46 of Chloe Ericsson. No caution, though. We're still green. As J Deaver checks out with the lead, J Shelly into second. Olson there into third place. Losing touch with the leader just for the moment. Austin LaPlante there in fourth, and battle maybe brewing for fifth between a couple of teammates. A Baranauskas in the 2 and Joshua Hyatt in the 92, who you see has that left side damage, so he did get the wall. Doesn't look like this really affected him though, but that's a steel guardrail that they hit that separates the exit of pit road from the rest of the racetrack, and now he's under fire from Eli Bright. This, I believe, is a battle for 6th place. Eli Bright's going to make the pass. And he'll make it just before they come down here into one of my favorite sections, the chicane, just off the Daytona back straightaway. Austin LaPlante had thoughts about third from Daniel Olson. Didn't get the preferred line into the chicane, though, and has to slap back to fourth. That brought A Baranauskas to his back bumper to maybe battle for that spot, but no dice just yet. So J Deaver leads the way, and we will complete the first lap of this race under green. We just really needed these drivers to get single file. Going double wide into turns 1 and 2 is a little hairy, but they were able to make it through without wrecking. So now we start to look at this race going into a long green flag run, possibly to the checkered flag. And with that being said, The fuel window coming into this race is somewhere between 9 to 10 laps, which makes it very close for the drivers to be able to make it on 2 stops, or at least on 1 stop, really. Because they could be anywhere from a half lap to a full lap short, depending on when they pit here under the first round of green flag pit stops. So it's really going to come down to who's going to be able to save some fuel. I think right now you want to run it out as hard as you can. But then on the second stint, after you make the green flag pit stop, you are going to want to make sure that you save about maybe 1 to 1.5 laps on fuel. Good battle going on back here just inside of the top 10. This is, I believe, a battle for the 8th position. Andrew Gonzalez going to make the pass on them all. He'll move to 8th. That'll move J Gilbert back to 9th. J Sandfer there in 10th. And then there's Phil Parker in 11th place. LaPlante's running in 4th. So right now, LaPlante would have Parker by 1 point for the points lead overall at this point in time. Right now, both of our top 2 in the standings running very, very well. Both former winners from this season. LaPlante at Dover and Parker at Memphis. And behind them, you've got Alexander Rowe, Carter Friesen, a couple of teammates out of Smart Motorsports. I thought before when we saw them hit the wall on the steel guardrail separating the access road from the racetrack, I thought the orange car I saw was Chloe Ericsson, but we see left side damage on the Auto Trader Ford Mustang, so I'm assuming it was actually Alexander Rowe that I saw brush the wall. And we got a car coming to pit road already. J Gilbert, this is not a scheduled stop, I don't think. Gilbert from the 9th position hitting pit lane. And we mentioned that he came into this race the lowest of the race winners in the standings, 21st in points. Now, why would he be pitting now? I don't know, unless this team is planning to pit from backwards, you know, strategize backwards. Maybe they feel that the drivers are going to have to make 2 pit stops and trying to get off sequence. This is really interesting. 1 car doing it as C Deaver was ahead of J Shelly by quite a bit, by about 3-4 car lengths. Now Shelly starting to close the gap back up. LaPlante also starting to close in. Sounded like someone just hit the wall. I don't know if that was a car bottoming out from the transition of the road course onto the banking of what is Daytona 1 and 2. I think that was just a side skirt scraping on the asphalt of the racetrack. And talk about some visibility problems. Look at this. As they all cut down through this bus stop, they keep kicking some dust up. And that dust lingers. I mean, that dust is from the last lap, and it's still lingering there. So there's got to be a little bit of a problem for these drivers trying to find their marks going through the chicane. C Deaver, though, looking for his first win since, I believe, Season 2. He made it into the playoffs that year, but he has been winless since then. And Deaver started on the pole position. He's led so far. J Shelly and Austin LaPlante, though, both of them utilizing the draft through the Daytona Speedway section of 3 and 4, were able to get up to the back bumper. Both of them kind of took that corner a little sharp, though. LaPlante got out of shape, as did Shelly, both trying to avoid hitting the wall. We've got a battle for 5th. Eli Bright is a man on a mission trying to get around Daniel Olson, but slid a little wide through that corner, hits the rumble strip. Andrew Gonzalez trying to get by Joshua Hyatt. That is for 7th. And he'll get the spot. Gonzalez, who finished runner-up to last time out's winner, Diego Yepez at, Juan Garcia rather, at Richmond. And moved him up very well in the standings to 24th, now trying to continue to climb through the points. Another rookie there, J Sandfer, slotted in 9th, and Phil Parker now up into the 10th position. Still 7 positions behind LaPlante. There's LaPlante in 3rd. So right now, advantage LaPlante by 1 point in the overall standings. Now, like I said before, the only race that we've got to go off of, because this is the first time and the first weekend that has ever played host at the Daytona road course in these 3 main series history, we only can really go based off of the race that we had here yesterday, the truck race. And one thing that I noticed consistently was you had most of your drivers come down pit road all together, and there were a couple of drivers that decided to stay out an extra lap. And it was those drivers that stayed out an extra lap that actually reaped the rewards, reaped the benefits of gaining positions on track. So we'll have to see if anybody here from this Pizza Hut X Series race followed what happened in the truck race. The reason I paused for a minute was I thought I saw that Eli Bright had moved up to 5th. He did. And actually Daniel Olson fell back. He just now got back around Andrew Gonzalez, but Olson's fallen back to the 6th position. So Eli Bright is moving, and I think Baranauskas just got off track, and now she's under fire from the 0-2. So Eli Bright may have the fastest car on the track right now, as he is picking up a lot of positions here in these laps. So the driver that I'm kind of curious about, okay, well, the curiosity's gone. Apparently there is an issue with the 66 of Elijah Gilbert. I thought maybe they were short pitting to try and get off sequence, but they are back on pit road. So this is not a good sign for the payday Chevy Camaro. Came to pit road before. They made a 4-tire stop. I don't know what they're going to do here. Yeah, it looks like they're going with a fill it up with fuel, and I think they're going under the hood. Something is very wrong with that machine. I don't know what. As you look here towards the rear of the field, that's Sky Commons, the 09. Andrew Davis back here, 10th in the points coming into this race, and not the run he was looking for. Zach Flickinger, 6th in points at the tail end of the group. Heather Gallant back here, not the run that rookie was looking for. Matt McIntire's got damage. Rob Evans has got damage. Mark Davidson there in the 29. Way back here, there's K Batson, former winner, back in the pack. Things a little crazy back here. Charles Jackson, Jake Rogers, 55 there of Nick Guenther, all battling, and this would be somewhere around, I think, 15th through 20th, maybe just inside the top 20. There's Diego Yepez, who won 3 weeks ago, 2 races ago, at Charlotte, picking up his first win of the season. He's up to the 13th position. That's where he was scored last time by, trying to run down his teammate Carter Friesen, who right now is slotted in 11th, so actually Yepez would be up in 12th right now. There's a possible battle brewing. Gonzalez and Joshua Hyatt. Can Gonzalez complete the pass before they get down to the chicane is the question. He'll be at least to the outside, and nope, not able to make the move. Actually really wide through the chicane. Here comes J Sandfer with a big run on the outside line, trying to take the spot away. Two of them nearly made contact on the exit of the chicane. It looks like Gene's going to pay the price, stuck on the outside line. That opens the door for Phil Parker to make a move. This is a battle for 9th. Now Phil's got to clear her before they get down here to turn 1. And it looks like he will succeed in doing so, so he'll move into 9th place. Gene will move back to 10th, and boy, they are wadded up back here from Daniel Olson on back. Olson, Hyatt, Gonzalez, Parker, Sandfer, and now Carter Friesen as Parker gets the fence right there. Saves it. That slowed up both himself and Carter Friesen, though. And I believe both of them must have hit the wall. They did. They both have left side damage now, the 31 and the 39. Both still running up inside of the top 15, though. Baranauskas under fire from Eli Bright. We're closing in on the time when these drivers would have to start making the pit stops. We've got a battle here for 6th. Olson, Hyatt, and Gonzalez. Joshua Hyatt trying to swing around the outside. He might succeed. And as these two are side by side, that brings the 64 into this battle. Where is Gonzalez going to go? Three-way battle between 6th, 7th, and 8th. They're going to take this battle down into the chicane. Who's going to make the move here for the position? Hyatt drives it deep. Olson crosses over. And Olson will keep the spot. Whew, that was an interesting battle there. Bright continuing to try and catch up to A Baranauskas, as now we got a battle for second. Austin LaPlante to the inside of J Shelly. Shelly moves up the track. LaPlante going to try and clear before they get down into this left-hander. Doesn't quite have him cleared. Shelly able to stay in the throttle a little bit longer. Whoa, LaPlante sliding it through the corner. He might have Shelly through this turn, depending on if he keeps the car on track or not. He does, but Shelly gets back to the throttle a little bit sooner. They're still going to remain side by side down into this left-hander here. Shelly swings it wide. LaPlante, I think, got him cleared. He does. So a change for second. Now Shelly with the crossover back to the inside. And this might be advantage Shelly into this corner unless LaPlante clears him, which he does. So LaPlante will move to second place. And I was going to say, before we had this spirited battle for second going on, we're now entering into the realm of when these drivers might hit pit road. They might hit pit road as early as this lap. Fuel windows between 9 to 10 laps. This will be at the completion of lap 8. J Deaver has been out in front for a good portion of this, so on the super speedway sections especially, he's been using up the most fuel, so probably he will be the Pied Piper. He'll set the pace on when these drivers make their pit stops. LaPlante there in second, getting by Shelly, who now falls to third. Now do we see some cat and mouse? If Deaver comes to pit road, do they all follow? No, Deaver does not pit. Neither does LaPlante, neither does Shelly. They're going to go another lap. So they can make it at maximum another 2 laps, I think. Maybe only another completed lap, not counting this one. Boy, Eli Bright, he's got a strong race car here. He's been able to reel in on Baranauskas, but he just hasn't been able to make the pass. Baranauskas, a former winner in the Pizza Hut X Series. Most notable win that I can recall is her going to victory lane at a road course, Watkins Glen, which I believe these drivers are going to be experiencing not too long from now. I don't know if the Pizza Hut X Series drivers are going there, though. No, they're not. In 2 weeks' time, Trucks and Hershey's Cup are going to Watkins Glen. The Pizza Hut X Series drivers, they will be road course racing as well, but they'll be at Champs-Élysées, going across the ocean to the French road course. Just saw there a pass for the 6th position. Andrew Gonzalez, who has apparently scuffed the wall at some point, has that left side damage, now into 6th place. Olson now back to 7th. Hyatt there in 8th, and Phil Parker continues to gain ground, but every time he gains ground, LaPlante gains ground. It's still 7 positions between the 7 and the 31. J Sandfer's also got damage. A lot of damage there just in front of the right rear tire. She is riding solidly in 10th place, and Deaver's on pit road. So Deaver's the only one to come to pit lane. Well, no, he's not. Baranauskas coming to pit road as well. So the drivers running 1st and 4th are hitting pit road, and here comes some others. Now, you got to wonder for some of these guys that have some damage, are they going to have to spend a little extra time on pit road? Gonzalez, Olson, Hyatt, Sandfer, Friesen. There's a lot of cars on pit road this time. Just about everybody that was running about 19th on back has hit pit lane. There's Patrick Curtis. He might have already been on pit road. M McIntire on the tail end of the lead lap in 41st. There's J Gilbert, 42nd. He's made multiple pit stops. So there's LaPlante, Shelly, and Eli Bright. They stayed out. Phil Parker did as well, as did Sky Commons. And those are the only drivers that stayed out. So 5 drivers in total, I believe. Now we're going to have to wait and see. Will this hold true to what we saw in the truck race here yesterday? And if those drivers came to pit road at the completion of lap 9, can they only make it to lap 18? These drivers are going to come into the completion of lap 10, which means they're going to be very close to making it on fuel. I would be very shocked if LaPlante, Shelly, Bright, if they stay out another lap. I think they're going to come to pit road this time. And we're going to have to see how they all cycle around in relation to Cole Deaver, who was the leader at the time of these green flag pit stops starting. So LaPlante's also going to get a bonus point for leading a lap here. That'll help him in his battle for the points lead with Phil Parker. LaPlante's in, Shelly's in, Bright's in. What about Phil Parker? And he's in as well. Sky Commons, the last of the drivers that had stayed out the extra lap, just then exiting the chicane, so it's going to be a while till we see him. Mark Davidson still sits on pit road there in the 29. We're still green, okay. Now we're watching to see here about Cole Deaver in relation to the 7 of Austin LaPlante. Deaver was the leader when he came to pit road a lap ago. LaPlante was the leader when he came to pit road this time. Who cycles out to the race lead is the question. And there's the answer. Deaver has already passed LaPlante. So Deaver is going to keep the lead. Baranauskas is actually going to cycle to second. So it's almost a little bit of flip reverse from yesterday's truck race. The drivers that pitted early now are the ones that reap the benefit of the track position. Baranauskas was 4th when the pit stops began. She's going to cycle around now to 2nd. LaPlante in 3rd. Shelly 4th. Bright in 5th. Olson will be 6th. Yepez in 7th. 8th now Jake Rogers, with Charles Jackson and N Guenther completing the top 10. And I have to assume for some of these drivers back here, the reason they're running up here towards the front, I think some drivers that were running up near the front, we saw they had damage. I think they had to spend a little bit of extra time on pit road, and that cost them very valuable track position, and for a few of them, cost them some top 10 runs. So the lead cycles back to Cole Deaver. Now here's the big question. Can they all make it to the completion of this race on fuel? Deaver and company came to pit road at the completion of lap 9. So if that's as far as they can go, if they can go maybe 10 laps, that means that they're only going to be able to make it to lap 19. Although when you look at LaPlante, Shelly, Bright, and those that came on the second round of pit stops there, that second group, they came at the completion of lap 10. And I believe all of them have pit stalls or after the start-finish line. So I think that if this thing goes green and if the fuel window is what it seems, it's going to fall into the battle between LaPlante, Shelly, and Bright as to who might win this race. Now, Cole Deaver's got over a 2.5 second lead, so if I'm him, I'm saving some fuel right now. No need to run qualifying laps around here when your closest source of competition is about 20-25 car lengths behind you, especially with the question of being able to make it to the checkered flag on fuel. Cole Deaver's been close many times in the past few years. He's just not been able to close the deal. I'm going to take the opportunity here as we're in this green flag run. You know, things rather spread out, not much battling going on right now. With the exception of, I just saw there was actually a change between Bright and Shelly. Bright moving into 4th place now. So putting 4 fresh tires on that 0-2, and he is continuing to move through the field once again. But I was going to look and see when indeed Cole Deaver's last win was. And I want to say it was back in Season 2. I can't recall what track it was, though. Yeah, there it is. Cole Deaver finishing out Season 2 with 1 victory. He finished in the Final 4 for the championship that year, and that win came at Charlotte. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the last win that Deaver ever had. Deaver Season 3 finished 25th, no wins. Season 4, he finished 41st with no wins. So yeah, it has been nearly 3 full seasons since Cole Deaver has gone to victory lane. 29 still sits on pit road there of Mark Davidson. So it looks like his day may be over. Let's look down at the bottom of the finisher results here. Yeah, he's 3 laps down, has not yet returned to the track, and we saw Elijah Gilbert made, I'm assuming, 2 unscheduled pit stops. That's taken him off the lead lap right now, running but in the 41st position. 40 of our 42 original cars still on the lead lap. So that's not good for Elijah Gilbert, who started off the year with a victory, the former champion, 21st in the points coming to this race, and he's going to continue to battle for the few remaining weeks of the regular season, it seems, to stay in the top 30 in the point standings. Let's take a look at what the lap times were that last lap. Cole Deaver, 144.225, 144.6 for Baranauskas, 144.7 for LaPlante, and a 143.7 for Eli Bright. That shows you right there, almost a half second faster than the race leader is Eli Bright. The question is, though, does he have enough time? I think he's got to target the 7 of LaPlante. He's got to pass him, because the 15, the 2, I think they're questionable whether they can make it on fuel. LaPlante, Bright, Shelly, I think those guys might be okay, and so the battle on track right now is for who's going to be ahead of those 3 drivers. Right now, I think it's between LaPlante and Eli Bright as to who's going to win this race, unless Deaver can save fuel. It doesn't really look like he's backing down his lap times at all. That time he ran just about the same lap time he ran before. Now obviously draft comes into play in lap times. Drivers that are able to be in the draft of others, able to get faster lap times. It looks like Deaver may have some company up ahead. That's Eli Bright, who's on pit road again. I think this time was actually a regularly scheduled stop for the 66. That's his 3rd time to pit road. Most of the field's only been on pit road once so far. But I know that the draft plays a big part, but let's see who's turned the fastest lap so far here in today's race. And it has been, wow, Austin LaPlante, a 143.028. Eli Bright, 4/10 off that, 143.401. And Phil Parker, Carter Friesen, and Carson Gum right now with the 5 fastest lap times of the day. You don't see the race leader, Cole Deaver, anywhere there because he's been out in front for most of this. Hasn't had the benefit of draft for his lap times. So we drop back here towards the back end of the top 10. Some names starting to pop up here. Diego Yepez, our Charlotte winner, now up to 6th. Jake Rogers there, now in the 8th position. 9th place, N Guenther, our winner from Phoenix. And how about Mason Wood now up in the top 10 in that 27? That team has been strong this year. Good consistent runs, 5th in the points coming into this race. Looking to get their 4th top 10 of the season, and I don't think this team's very far away from getting to victory lane either. Patrick Curtis, I think, was one of those drivers that came to pit road before everybody else, a lap before the race leader Cole Deaver, and that cycled him around to 11th, so a good run for him. 12th place, Carson Gum, solid outing. He just actually ran his fastest lap of the race last time by. 13th place, Ryan George. That team's needed some good runs coming their way. Right now running solidly in that 13th position. 14th, Jessica Miles. She just took that spot away from somebody, I don't know who. Nathan Hudson there now in 15th. Who was 14th last time by? Charles Jackson. That's who they passed. Jackson's getting freight train now. Chloe Ericsson, Phil Parker. Last time out's winner Juan Garcia all up here as they're all fighting for spots inside of the top 20. They see that Phil Parker's back here. Last time by scored in the 18th position. I think that they spent a little extra time on pit road. And A Baranauskas just leaving pit lane. As is Cole Deaver. They just hit pit road. The 15 and the 2 were just on pit road. And that turns the race lead over to Austin LaPlante. So if they're pitting that early, I don't know for certain if these other drivers can make it on fuel. And look how much ground Eli Bright has made up on Austin LaPlante. LaPlante takes the lead over. Eli Bright right behind him in 2nd. Deaver and Baranauskas just gave up 1st and 2nd to come to pit lane. So now they're good to go on fuel. Now what about these guys? Can these guys make it the rest of the way on fuel? And Eli Bright, the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack, LaPlante and Bright battling it out here. LaPlante looking for his 2nd win of the season. That would lock him a spot up in this season's playoffs. Eli Bright, on the other hand, looking for his 1st win of the season, also trying to make it into the playoffs. Oh, he got a big run there out of turn 4. Gonna try and get to the inside. These two might take a double wide battle down into turn 1. Who led that lap? That was close. It was LaPlante, they say, by a splitter. And now here comes the battle. LaPlante and Bright with 5 laps to go. Don't know why I hit that button. Ooh, LaPlante clears him. Slides right up in front of him. And he'll keep the spot at least for the moment. But Eli Bright hounding him. And this is taking place 7 seconds ahead of the 71 of J Shelly. You gotta wonder if the 71 might be saving a little bit. We saw Cole Deaver was on pit road along with Baranauskas. I think those two had a gas and go strategy because I think that both of them are just outside the top 10. There's Deaver. Yeah, he's in 11th, and Baranauskas cycled around to 14th. So they didn't lose a lot, but they lost enough. So it was a gas and go for them. So now what about these drivers? As we got a pass for the lead, Eli Bright gonna get by LaPlante, and he'll take the top spot. This might be strategy on the part of LaPlante, though, because we've seen that Cole Deaver had to come to pit road earlier than some others did because he was out in front cutting the wind, wasn't able to save fuel, so LaPlante might be saying, all right, you got a faster car, go ahead out there, cut the wind for me, and maybe you won't make it on fuel and I will. But this, I think, is huge with the fact that we saw that Cole Deaver is back in 11th, Baranauskas there in 14th, because if these drivers can't make it on fuel, I think that Deaver is very close, and that he would be able to then bypass any drivers that can't make it on fuel and be able to bypass them. And if the top 10 can't make it, he's going to be right back to the lead. 4 laps to go. Eli Bright now with the race lead over Austin LaPlante. It's a long ways up before you get to the 6 of J Gilbert. I don't think he's going to be a factor in the outcome of this race. I don't think they would close on him quickly enough. 2 weeks ago, Srigley Motorsports got their first win of the season with the rookie Juan Garcia, and now they're looking to go 2 in a row with Eli Bright. The other of their drivers, Jake Rogers, up in the 5th position, so a good outing for a couple of the Ford Mustangs out of that team. You can see right there, rear of the field was just entering into turn 1, just shows how far ahead these top 2 really are. As they now head into the Super Speedway section, turn 1. Last year, Eli Bright was a winner in the Pizza Hut X Series. Went to victory lane in the first chase race at Chicagoland, but he was not a playoff contender. As a matter of fact, Eli Bright's last 2 seasons really have been all about winning late in the year, and those wins not counting towards a playoff spot. You go back to 2 years ago when he ran the very first season of the Coors Light Truck Series. He won the last 2 races of the season, and then last year wins the first playoff race in the Pizza Hut X Series. So he's been very good in the late portions of the year, but that just doesn't help you get into the postseason to compete for the championship. Right now, barring having any problems with fuel, Eli Bright could get his first win of his career to get him into his first career appearance in a playoff system. LaPlante right there in 2nd place, though, waiting to see if indeed that Pepsi Next Mustang is going to be able to make it to the end. LaPlante's got to be conserving a little bit here, trying to see if maybe he can stretch it. And you got Cole Deaver back there hoping the top 10 can't make it on fuel, because we know now that he can. Eli Bright with 2 tires on the rumble strip there, taking the corner a little bit wider, which means he would have a little bit more speed on the corner exit, allowing him to gap himself just the least little bit from LaPlante. Looks like Eli Bright, I think a big reason why he's been laying down some very fast lap times and been able to fight his way up to where he is now is because he has attacked this course in the fastest lines possible. He's taken some corners wide where others have tried to cut it. That's allowed him for better corner exit speed. He's been able to get back to the throttle sooner. He's been able to pinpoint the areas of this racetrack where you can get the most speed and make up the most ground, and I think that's a big reason why he has been able to fight his way up to the front. Now we're getting into the nail-biter section of the race. There's 2 to go this time, and we don't know if these drivers can make it on fuel. Eli Bright is not coming to pit road. LaPlante neither. There's Shelly riding in third. Now, he hasn't had anybody to draft with, so he's got to be really close on fuel. Diego Yepez there in fourth. Jake Rogers in fifth. Olson sixth. Guenther seventh. Wood eighth. Carson Gum right there in ninth. This could be a brewing battle. And they're coming to pit road. Oh, my goodness. This is 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. All coming to pit road. Did anybody else? Rogers did. Yepez did. The top three stayed out. Bright, LaPlante, and Shelly. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. 4th through 10th just came to pit road. That means that Deaver will be up to 4th. He'll cycle up to 4th place. Now the top three, can they make it 1.5 more laps? Is this race going to fall into the hands of Cole Deaver? Will these drivers be able to make it, or will they run out of fuel in the attempt? Or will they have to play it safe and come to pit road, coming to receive the white flag? Deaver was 30 seconds back from Eli Bright, but that can easily be made up if these drivers have to hit pit road. It's 55 miles per hour at the Daytona pit lane. Oh, this is getting exciting here. Bright with the lead, LaPlante in second, Shelly in third. They're trying to stretch it. Can any three of those drivers make it? Here's the truth telling off of turn 4. Is Bright going to stay out? Yes, he is. He's going to risk it. LaPlante's going to risk it as well. What about Shelly? Shelly is going to stay out as well. So now the question is, will these drivers make it or will they run out of fuel? They have got to be milking these throttles right now. They have got to be coasting through the corners. They've got to be so close on fuel. Diego Yepez, I think, managed to hold on to 4th over Cole Deaver despite coming to pit lane. I think he's still in 4th. Rogers 5th. Olson in 6th. Nope, just then Cole Deaver crossed the line in 4th place. Baranauskas there in 5th, and those were two drivers that had to pit much earlier than everybody else. Eli Bright, I don't know. It's hard to tell whether he is going slower than his normal race pace or not. I don't know if he's saving or not. Into the speedway, turn 1. Driving it way up on the top side. Not sure why you would do that. I would run right down the bottom. It's the shortest way around the racetrack. Get you back to the start-finish line quicker. LaPlante, I don't think has got enough fuel to be able to make a charge here. He's just got to hope and pray that Eli Bright somehow, some way runs out of fuel. If Eli Bright can get through this section, I think he's okay. But then he also needs LaPlante to run out of fuel at the same time if both of them are on the exact same area of strategy in terms of how much fuel they've got in the tank. Eli Bright, though, mashes the throttle. He's going to hope it's enough to see him to the start-finish line. I think he's going to be all right. Eli Bright's going to get his first win of the season, and for the first time might make it into the playoffs. He'll take the checkered flag here today at the Daytona Road Course. What a day for Eli Bright. Fought his way up into the top 10 early after the pit stops, was up to 3rd, and then after the pit stop cycled, he battled up past both James Shelly and Austin LaPlante to be the highest running driver that looked like he could stretch it the rest of the way on fuel, and then succeeded in doing so. And Eli Bright picking up his 2nd career Pizza Hut X Series victory, 1st of the season, and like I just said, might for the very first time be competing in the chase for the championship. Although, wait a minute. No, hold on, just a doggone second. I think all those stats were wrong. I think he actually was in the playoffs back in Season 2. I think he was a 2-time winner as well, wasn't he? Just double check on that. No, he wasn't a 2-time winner, but he did win back in Season 2, and he finished 7th in the playoffs. So he has a chance to make his 2nd career playoffs appearance in the Pizza Hut X Series. I apologize for that, and this is his 3rd career Pizza Hut X Series victory. Yeah, remember he drove the 0.5 back in Season 2. I don't know if the session's complete because the 66 of Elijah Gilbert, I think, is yet to cross the line, but I think from at least down to maybe the top 20, might be official. But I'm not 100% certain. I think we got to wait until the leader gets to the line. Nope, the standings just now went official. So officially it is Eli Bright with the win. And Eli Bright came into this race 23rd in points. So this will be not only a 1 in the win column, but this will also pick him up some valuable positions in the standings. So he'll get the win. LaPlante led a couple of laps, so he'll get some bonus points, and he also finishes much better than Phil Parker did. So that means that LaPlante will take the points lead back over heading into Darlington next week. J Shelly, a well-needed run for a driver that came into this race, 36th in points. He gets a podium in 3rd. C Deaver was hoping these drivers couldn't make it on fuel, but he just comes up short there, maybe about 1.5 laps short on fuel. He'll have to settle for 4th. A Baranauskas, same deal for her. She'll bring it home, though, with a top 5 in 5th. Oh, actually, wait, Phil Parker finished 6th. I didn't even see the 31 was up there. That was my mistake. Parker finishes 6th, so actually Parker, I think, keeps the points lead by 1 point, if my calculations are correct, over LaPlante. Rookie of the race, though, Andrew Gonzalez. Great run for him in 7th. Jake Rogers brings it home 8th. 9th for Daniel Olson. 10th was Mason Wood. 11th for N Guenther. Canario. Great run for the guy who came in dead last in points. 12th for him. Ryan George, 14th. Sky Commons. We saw him, what was it, like 41st at one point in this race? Did some pit strategy, and it worked out for him to get a 14th place run. And Diego Yepez, after his win a few weeks ago, gets 15th place. Rest of your top 20 were Carson Gum, Patrick Curtis, Nathan Hudson, J Sandfer, and Angel Navarro. You look down through the remainder of the finisher results, and a few of our former winners not with the runs they were looking for here today. K Batson finishing in 27th. Last time out's winner J Garcia in the 32nd position. Zach Flickinger back in 34th. Our Atlanta winner Rob Evans in 35th. And all the way down in 41st, finishing 2 laps down, was J Gilbert, our Daytona winner. So this driver, the struggles continue to try and stay in the top 30 in points with that Daytona win to count towards a spot in the playoffs. And then Mark Davidson was the only other driver that finished off the lead lap, 3 laps down. But boy, what a race of strategy right there. That was fun. Eli Bright picks up the victory here, first of the season. We now have 10 different winners in 10 races, which means at this current point in time, provided the 66 is still in the top 30 in the point standings, that we have 10 of our 12 playoff spots filled in right now with race winners from this season, and still a couple more races to go before the playoffs begin. So it's getting fewer and fewer spots for drivers to make it in via points. But thank you all for tuning into today's race. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown your full feature results. These are your rookie point standings, your overall point standings heading into next week's race. Next week, it's Throwback Week at the Darlington Raceway. Pizza Hut X Series and Hershey's Cup Series action going to be coming to you from the Lady in Black. We finish up this race weekend here, though, as we will be taking the Daytona Road Course for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers. That'll be a lot of fun. And then, right in the middle of this weekend and next weekend, is the Last of Us Late Series. They're back as well, as we will go short track racing at Salem. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching Production AS Ray, Offline Racing at its best. So long from Daytona.